to increase. But again, the keys to blockchain, you got to have trusted agents and partners. So I got to know that I'm doing a handoff with someone else, and we just don't have it out there in abundance where you got those kind of keys in the handoff. But in this particular case, though, this attack, it still would have been an issue.
Wow.
From that point of view.
And they said, Self, that they don't know how, like, they've been in there a long time. That was the problem. They've been in there a long time before it was discovered.
Of course. I mean, it was easy. They got in through probably
left no footprint and got out.
A mock company.
But that's what they do. And to this point, usually we know that they're in. And so that's why this Mandiant FireEye agent, that's what we use to do our monitoring to see who is there. In this particular case, it wasn't working because they had compromised the utility that everyone uses to do the monitoring.
So you're either criminally negligent or like, here's what I'm saying. Like, I was telling Tori, like, somebody might go to jail because if you're in charge of my security and Tori's telling me, some guy's been coming here staring at your daughter every day and then walking out and nobody knows.
And then the guy, the manager comes out and says, I'm responsible, man. I saw them go through the window.
And they told me, and I didn't change the locks or nothing.
Yeah. He had the
key. That's not good, man. Especially at that level.
It is not. And again, and this is, kind of this goes into all of the disclaimers and stuff.
All right.
This is a very active investigation.
Yeah.
Your point,
man.
Each day is a new discovery as well as the linkage with some of the partners. And so there's some remnants of activities impacting Microsoft. So this is pretty huge. That's been documented. So,
Bro, and I know you're on the East Coast. I just want 13 minutes. I know I told you 10, 15, but if you can give us 13 minutes, we can get through this. But if you got more, we can talk. But yes, man.
No, I'm on beta time now because I'm in Dallas.
All right. Well, cool. I'm not trying to rush you. I mean, Self Love and I, we love this. But that's right. You are in Dallas now. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, cool. I feel a lot less guilty. That's what I was sending you the text all in East Coast time and everything.
I said, okay, you trying to make me feel.
I can. Okay. My bad on that. Man. So and the fact that, like, I think the media is kind of keeping it hush hush, but bro.
Well, who's the target? The government. They will run their mouth when they want to. Come on.
And the media go deal the narrative of these 6 companies, or 5, arguably, 5 or 6 companies that run all of the media, and they're gonna run that narrative.
And they were saying that, these are the types of things that our government or any, major war, before a war, these are the types of strategies we would employ. We would go into all their systems and get all this information and learn how to shut down their everything. So, this is me talking. This is not him talking. So, but any myths about your industry that you'd like to clear up?
I think that I don't think it's the myth goes back to my deadly sins. Everybody has them. It's almost like, there's not a family that doesn't have what they call their black sheeps or whatever that's in, because that's what families are. There's good, bad, and in the other.
Right. So everybody in securities isn't scum.
Yeah. So and the goal is that you have to be, and my biggest key though is the more that we could be transparent and communicate where we need to do the improvements and fess up and execute against that. Whereas to your point, a lot of people want to spend, and they will be spending a lot of time, just as you described, on how can I make sure that I can be more bulletproof from a lawsuit versus doing the fix, the patch, the update, making sure that the vulnerabilities is matched, and then to assure giving me that trust how are you going to stop this from happening again? And that was
Man.
my biggest point to, to the owner of the organization. I said, you're talking about patients and safety and institutions, and we can go through a lot of other, but how are you going to make sure that that trust is there? And at least for me personally, I didn't hear good transparency in a discussion. So when you talk about what keeps me up at night, when they say in my kind of role, it's trying to crack the nuts and knock people over their heads in organizations that's still trying to play a cloak and dagger game here.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what we need, at least in the industry. Yes. Do I have the dark web? Do I have black hat, non-ethical, people out there? Yep. We know that. We know they exist. We know that they're going to be there. You never have 100% security. That's why I will always.
You're in mitigation.
I will have a job, a role. There's going to be opportunity, because if you lock everything down, then we're all sitting in a cave somewhere with no technology and no way of
communicating. Somebody can get a battering ram and knock my front door down right now.
Man.
So again, that's kind of we need to be a little bit more open and, call a spade, going back to coming from Chicago. You got to call one, you deal with it, and you move on. And a lot of people don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You got a question in there, Self?
Yeah, no doubt. We got Miliac. Man, peace and love to Miliac. Much respect all the time. Said, great show. How often should you change your password for accounts related to financial institutions?
Every 90 days.
Wow.
You hear that, man? Every 90 days, bro.
Wow.
And you're saying that's with difficult passwords already set up.
Right. Yep. Because again,
it's serious, man. But go ahead, bro.
Identity is the number one element that they want to go after. And again, it goes back to my deadly sins. If you're changing your password, because and it's difficult. People want to remember and have something that is, that is simple. But again, even if your password is a phrase and it's, I get it going on with self-love, that's something you can switch up, remember, and move on and change. So it doesn't have to be,
really
semicolon.
Somebody told me that too, man. It was a guy from Israel. It was a computer guy. He was like, why you make your password so difficult? He's like, you just got to change them frequently.
You have to change them frequently.
Yeah.
Okay. 90 days. Okay.
But the reason we don't change them frequently is because we make them so difficult. Like you were saying to your point, it's hard to remember. And you're like, But there's software that I just got where it encrypts your password. In other words, I still can change it every 90 days. I will start doing that. And it remembers your passwords for you. But then those places can be hacked too, right? It's like I'm giving all these guys my information.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
There's always, again, that's that weakest link component. And so, but again, think about it. If you've changed it and you change them and you rotate them through, the likelihood it becomes much less. And that's why the 90 days is what we typically would recommend. And again, do we have abilities with, like you're talking about, there's people that can have tokens and other types of tools that can rotate automatically. When you log in, it's doing what they call a second authentication or and so you have not only your password, but then you have another authentication that then you couple those two together, and then that's what opens the door.
Yeah. And I think that's the app what they're telling me the app is. But the reason people feel this way, a little commentary, when I look at the McAfee guy who I use for my security, he was investigated by the government, went to jail. I'm not saying he's a criminal. Who am I to talk? Facebook is on one hacker way. Zuckerberg, I mean, this started, they were looking for, trying to pick up date hot chicks at Harvard, So I think that's why people kind of think, that kind of way about it. But at the same time, if those are the people in the know, those are going to have to be the people that we work with.
Right.
It's just so deep, man. It is really deep. Biggest mistakes you see from